Constitutional showdown. ED versus IPAC and the state of West Bengal. The unprecedented clash. It is rare in Indian legal history for a chief minister to be accused of physically entering the central agency's raid to confiscate evidence. It is equally rare for a state to accuse a central agency of stealing election strategies under the guise of a financial investigation. But on January 8, 2026, both happened. Today, we break down the complete multidimensional court proceedings regarding the Enforcement Directorate's raid on IPAC, the arguments presented by Tushar Mehta and Kapil Sibal in the Supreme Court, and the critical constitutional questions now facing the Indian judiciary. Section 1. The facts and the incident, January 8, 2026. To understand the court proceedings, we first need the facts on the ground. The target. On the morning of January 8, 2026, the Enforcement Directorate launched simultaneous raids at Kolkata office of IPAC, Indian Political Action Committee in Salt Lake, Sector 5, and the residence of its director Pratik Jain. The predicate offense, the ED claimed that this was part of a money laundering probe linked to the infamous coal smuggling case. The allegation was that proceeds of crime were routed to IPAC via Hawala channels. The flashpoint. Around noon, West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee physically arrived at the raid site. ED's version. They allege the CM, accompanied by state police, barged into the venue, intimidated officers, and forcibly took away seized digital evidence and documents. IPAC TMC version. They argue the ED was illegally accessing sensitive 2026 Assembly election strategy data and candidate lists, acting as a tool for the rival political party. Section 2. From High Court to Supreme Court. The matter first went to the Calcutta High Court. However, the proceedings there were disrupted by what the Supreme Court later termed a commotion and obstruction, leading the ED to move the Supreme Court directly under Article 32 of the Constitution. On January 15, 2026, a Supreme Court bench comprising Justice Prashant Mishra and Justice Bipul M. Pancholi heard the case. This hearing is the core of our analysis. Section 3. The Supreme Court arguments. Detailed breakdown. The petitioner, Enforcement Directorate, represented by SG Tushar Mehta. The Solicitor General presented a grave picture of constitutional breakdown. Argument 1. The alleged theft. S.G. Mehta argued that the Chief Minister's action constituted the offense of theft and obstruction of justice. He stated she marched into a lawful raid and took away evidence, including the mobile phone of an ED officer. State machinery as accomplice. The ED argued that the Kolkata police, instead of assisting the central agency, registered FIRs against the ED officials for theft and molestation, effectively freezing the federal investigation. Argument 3. The lawlessness. lawlessness precedent. Mehta warned that if a chief minister can physically stop a central raid, it sets a precedent for anarchy and lawlessness across other states. The respondents, state of West Bengal and IPAC, represented by Kapil Sibal and Abhishek Manu Singhvi. The defense focused on political vendetta and maintainability. Argument 1, timing and malice. Kapil Sibal argued, why now? He pointed out the coal scam investigation had been dormant for 2 years, reviving it just months before the 2026 elections and targeting the party's political consultants, not just the party itself, was portrayed as an attempt to cripple the opposition's campaign machinery. Argument 2, privacy of political strategy. The defense argued that IPAC holds proprietary data on voter demographics and candidate selection. They claimed the ED's raid was a fishing expedition to hand over this data to the ruling party at the center. Argument 3, federal outreach. Dr. Singhvi argued that the ED bypassing the High Court to come directly to the Supreme Court was forum shopping and that the state police has the right to investigate misconduct by ED officers' alleged high-handedness. Section 4. The court's observation and interim order. The bench, while not delivering a final verdict, made significant oral observations and passed an interim order on January 15, 2026. On lawlessness, Justice Misra remarked, if they are left undecided, a situation of lawlessness may prevail in one or the other state. The court signaled that physical interference in a raid by the constitutional authority is a serious matter. On election work versus investigation, the court observed that while central agencies cannot interfere with legitimate election work, a state cannot obstruct a lawful investigation by claiming party activities as a shield. The interim ruling, the actionable outcome, stay on FIRs. The Supreme Court stayed the investigation into the FIRs lodged by Kolkata police against the ED officials. This protects the ED officers from immediate arrest or state interrogation. Notice issued. A formal notice was issued to the Chief Minister, the DGP and the Police Commissioner to explain their conduct. Evidence preservation. The state was ordered to preserve all CCTV footage from the raid locations Salt Lake and Loudon Street to verify who actually removed the documents. Section 5. Critical and multidimensional analysis. Beyond the legal jargon, this case touches on 3 critical dimensions of Indian democracy. The federalism dimension. This is a classic center-state conflict. The Enforcement Directorate Center has the power to investigate money laundering anywhere, but law and order is a state subject. When the two collide physically, as they did in this raid, it exposes the fragility of India's cooperative federalism. The consultant loophole. IPAC is a private consultancy, not a political party. However, because they hold the brain of the party's strategy, they are a high-value target. This case raises a new legal question. Do political consultants enjoy any specific privacy protections regarding their clients' political data? The precedent of the 2021 Tripura case. Critically, this is not the first time IPAC has faced legal heat. In 2021, an IPAC team was detained by Tripura police, a BJP-ruled state, under Disaster Management Acts. In that instance, a local court granted them bail, and the High Court eventually scrutinized the police intents. The reputation of legal pressure on IPAC suggests that political consultancies are now active participants in the legal warfare of Indian elections. Conclusion: what happens next? As of mid January 2026, the Supreme Court has pressed the pause button on the state police action against the ED, giving the central agency the upper hand temporarily. The state government must file its counter affidavit within 2 weeks. The next hearing is scheduled for February 3, 2026. The court will then decide whether to hand over the investigation of the raid incident itself to the CBI as requested by the ED. Is this a legitimate crackdown or corruption or the weaponization of agencies against political strategy? The Supreme Court's final judgment will likely define the rules of engagement for the 2026 election. We will keep tracking the docket. Thanks for watching. It is important to mention here that ED informs local police station before its formal raid, but it is alleged that in this case the police was informed about the raid through an email after 4.5 hours of initiation of the raid. It raises a serious question mark on the ED. Thanks, regards.